When we think of food, we imagine nourishment, survival, and taste. But in the Aghori tradition, food is not just what we put into our mouths. Food is a mirror of consciousness. It reveals our attachments, our identity, our pride, and our ego. Long before a morsel touches the tongue, the Aghori asks, who is eating? Not what is eaten, but who. There is a forgotten practice in the Aghori path, one that few outside the circles of the cremation grounds have heard of. It is called, symbolically, eating ego before food. What does this mean? Let me take you to the banks of the Ganga, to the burning ghats of Kashi, where I once sat with an old Aghori sadhu named Harinarayan. His beard was ash-smeared, his eyes glowing with both fire and serenity. When he ate, he would always close his eyes for a moment before lifting the first bite to his mouth. I asked him once, Maharaj, why do you pause like this? He laughed softly.
Because if I don't eat my ego first, this food will only feed my illusion.
The practice is deceptively simple but deeply profound. Before a meal, the Aghori reflects on the identity that clings to him. The I that says, I am the eater, I am the enjoyer, I am the one in control. And he dissolves it. He eats the ego first, meaning he digests the pride of being separate, the arrogance of thinking he owns this food, the illusion that he is different from what he consumes. Only then does he allow the food to enter his body as an offering, not as possession. In ordinary life, food is a stage for ego to perform. One person boasts of eating rich dishes, another of eating pure vegetarian sattvic meals, and another of fasting with discipline. But in every case, the ego lurks. I am superior because of what I eat. The Aghori sees this trap clearly.
If I take pride in purity, my impurity has only changed clothes. If I boast of renunciation, my renunciation is stained.
There is a story I must share here. In Varanasi, an Aghori was once invited to a wealthy man's house. The host, proud of his generosity, served a grand meal on silver plates. The Aghori ate silently, but afterward he asked for the man's leftover scraps. Shocked, the host exclaimed,
Why would you eat what I throw away when I have offered you the best?
The Aghori replied,
Because your best was served to display your pride.
These scraps are free of ego, so they are fit for my body. This is the essence of eating ego before food. It is not about what the food is. It may be rich or poor, clean or foul, sweet or bitter. What matters is whether the eater has devoured the I that clings to the act of eating. Even the texts hint at this. The Kaivalya Upanishad speaks of consuming with awareness, where the fire within digests not just food, but also illusion. The Aghori takes this literally. Food becomes a fire ritual. Each bite is an offering into the yajna of the body, and the first oblation is always the ego. But why does this matter? Because food binds us to the cycle of identity. A child is told, eat this, you are like us. Food becomes culture, belonging, even separation. Wars have been fought over what is considered pure or impure. The Aghori, sitting on the cremation ground, laughs at this. He says, what can be impure when the body itself is made of rot and ash? What can be pure when the ego eats before the food? Eating ego before food also means collapsing the hierarchy of taste. To the Aghori, sweet and bitter, hot and cold, pure and impure, they are masks worn by the same cosmic substance. In eating without judgment, the Aghori trains his mind to see the unity behind opposites. I remember another story told by a disciple in Gujarat. His guru, an Aghori, once picked up a half-burned piece of bread from the cremation ground. Without hesitation, he ate it. The disciple recoiled in horror. Guruji, how could you eat that? The master looked at him and said, My child, what disgusts you is not the bread but your mind. Today I ate bread, tomorrow I will eat your disgust. Only when I have eaten your disgust will you taste freedom. This is the forgotten practice, not to consume filth for shock, but to devour the ego that calls something filth. It is a weapon sharper than the blade of austerity because it cuts at the root of identity itself. Think about your own meals. Do you eat to nourish or to display? Do you eat to satisfy hunger or to pacify emotions? Do you eat to control your body, to sculpt it into society's image of beauty? In each of these, the ego sits at the table before the food arrives. To practice like an Aghori is not to eat what he eats, but to eat as he eats. To sit down and first ask, what part of my ego is hungry? And when you recognize that hunger, you consume it. You let the fire of awareness burn it down before a grain of rice touches your lips. Then the food becomes sacred, for it is eaten without an eater. This is why Aghoris say, the true poison is not in the food but in the mind. The true nectar is not in the drink but in the awareness. When you understand this, every meal is a ritual of liberation. So remember, the next time you eat, pause, Close your eyes, ask yourself who is eating. Offer your ego first into the fire of awareness, then eat. This is the Aghori way of transforming even the simplest act of survival into the highest act of freedom. If these insights resonate with you, I invite you to subscribe to the Aghori Code. Together we can bring back these forgotten practices, explore their hidden meanings, and form a community that seeks truth beyond fear, beyond illusion, beyond the ordinary. Because on this path, none of us should walk alone.